Derek Vance was not a hero. He didn't carry a gun, didn't wear armor, and didn't dream of saving the galaxy. He was just a technician, a fixer of broken machines, living on a rusty mining station named Outpost Thetanine, floating near the edge of known space. The station wasn't glamorous. It was cold, smelled like burned wires, and made strange noises at night. Derek had worked there for almost 6 years. Most days were the same. Wake up, drink recycled water, fix some broken systems, and sleep again. Sometimes he talked to the old maintenance droid just to hear a voice. Humanity had fallen a long time ago. There were stories, old ones, about humans once being explorers, warriors, even kings among the stars. But those stories were like fairy tales now.
Most people
Believed humans were weak, scattered, or extinct. Derek never believed in legends. Until the day the sky cracked open, it began with silence. Outpost Thetanine always made noise clicks from pressure valves, hums from reactors, and random alarms from old computers. But that morning, everything stopped. No lights, no sound. Even the air vents went still. Derek woke up confused. His room was dark except for the emergency backup light blinking red. He grabbed his jacket and a small toolkit and stepped into the hallway. The station was dead. His communicator didn't work. His boots echoed on the metal floor as he walked toward the control room. The silence was heavy, like space itself was. Holding its breath, then he saw it through the main window. Something massive floated outside the station. It wasn't a ship. It was too big for that. It looked like a dark, living creature, shaped like a crescent moon, with glowing veins running. Across its surface, it didn't shine like metal. It shimmered like it was breathing. Derek blinked, stunned. The object moved slowly, turning its front toward the station. Then a beam of white light shot out, covering the entire outpost. For a moment, Derek thought he was going to die, but he didn't. Instead, the lights returned. The air systems restarted. His communicator buzzed back to life. Then a voice spoke. Not from the speakers, not from a radio. The voice was inside his head, soft, warm, and ... strange. I found you. An hour later, they arrived. A shuttle broke off from the massive alien ship and docked with the station. Derek had hidden in the control room, watching through a camera feed. The shuttle opened, and a group of tall, silver-armored aliens stepped inside. They looked almost human, but their skin shimmered like liquid metal. Their eyes glowed with soft violet light. They walked with elegance like dancers, not soldiers. Behind them came her. She was taller than the others, wearing a long robe that seemed to float around her. Her hair was silver and flowed like silk, and a strange crown-like device hovered above her head. When she stepped onto the station, the air itself seemed to tremble. Derek couldn't move. He felt like a mouse watching a star. 2 of the armored aliens found him quickly. They didn't hurt him. One simply touched his shoulder. Suddenly, Derek felt calm, like a wave of peace washed over him. Then she entered the room. She looked at him, her eyes wide, filled with something strange. Not anger, not fear, but wonder. She walked forward, slow and graceful. Derek couldn't even think. He just stood there as the tall alien woman stopped right in front of him then. To his shock, she hugged him. It wasn't a cold hug. It was warm, gentle. Her arms wrapped around him like she had missed him for 1,000 years. She leaned close to his ear. In perfect English, she whispered, I finally found you. Am I human? Derek didn't know how to respond. His heart was racing, and his mind was spinning. Was this a dream? Was he dead? Was this alien somehow confusing him with someone else? Wait, he stammered. Who are you? The woman stepped back slowly, her face calm but emotional. I am Azera, sovereign of the Valari. I have searched for you across galaxies. Me. Derek pointed at himself. Why? You are the last signal, she said softly. The final spark in the dark. He stared at her, completely lost. Her guards said nothing, simply watched, still as statues. Derek tried again. I'm just a technician. I fix machines. That's it, she smiled sadly. You do not know what you carry, but it's inside you. Code. A song buried deep in your blood, or meant to be lost, so you could be found. Derek didn't understand half of what she said, but her voice was soothing, and somehow deep down he felt something stir. Like a part of him had been asleep and was now waking up. Before he could speak again, Zara raised a hand. "Come with me," she said. "Your station will remain unharmed. But we must leave now. Others are watching." "Others?" Derek asked. Nervous, she nodded. "Not all want you found." They left the station quietly. Derek barely had time to grab a small bag and say goodbye to the maintenance droid. As the shuttle carried him toward the massive alien vessel, he looked back at the tiny station where he had spent years. It already felt far away. When he entered the Valari mothership, he was stunned. The inside was not made of metal or wires. It looked alive, walls pulsing with soft lights, air rich with strange scents, and strange shapes floating like jellyfish. In large open chambers, it was beautiful. Alien, intimidating Nay led him personally. Her people bowed as she passed. She brought him to a tall chamber filled with floating crystals. In the center was a seat almost like a throne, but shaped for a human. "Sit," she said. "I don't think I belong here," Derek whispered. "You will," she replied, "in time." When he sat, the room changed. The crystals glowed, and Derek felt something touch his mind, not painfully, but deeply. Like old memories he didn't know he had were being unsealed. He saw flashes humans walking among stars, building cities in space, shaking hands with creatures like the Valari. He saw a war, a great fire, and a final message, hidden in blood and time. He opened his eyes, gasping. "What was that?" he asked. Azera stood beside him, eyes shining with emotion. "A memory from the core of your kind," she said. "The humans were not forgotten. They were hidden, buried for a reason. You are the last key, Derek Vance." He didn't speak. He saw. She reached out and touched his hand gently. "Rest now," she said. "There is much to show you. But you are safe, my human." And in that strange alien ship, surrounded by stars and secrets, Derek Vance began a journey that would shake the galaxy. Derek Vance didn't sleep much that night. He was given a private room inside the Valari mothership. The walls glowed softly with blue light. The bed was large and comfortable, shaped to match his body. The air was warm and smelled like sweet flowers. But Derek couldn't relax. How could he? Hours ago, he was a simple repairman, fixing broken pipes. Now he was on a ship filled with strange aliens who said he was something special, something lost and important. He turned over and stared at the ceiling. It shimmered like a sky full of stars. "What do they want from me?" he whispered. He didn't have the answer. The next morning, 2 Valari guards waited outside his room. They bowed when he stepped out. "Queen Azire requests your presence," one of them said in a calm voice. Derek nodded nervously and followed them through long glowing halls. The ship was massive and alive. He saw walls moving slightly like they were breathing. Floating creatures passed by, scanning them silently. Other Valari nodded at him with curious expressions as if they had never seen a human before, and maybe they hadn't. He was the only one here. They reached a round chamber, filled with floating shapes. Queen Azera stood in the center, wearing a silver robe that shimmered like moonlight. Her crown of light floated above her head, pulsing slowly. She turned as Derek entered and smiled. "You rested well?" "As well as I could." Derek replied honestly. She stepped forward. "Come. There is much I must show you." Azera led him to a raised platform. She touched a crystal, and suddenly the room changed. A 3D image appeared around them, a huge galaxy spinning in the dark. Lines of data and symbols floated across space. "This," Azera said, "is the known universe." "You're in this!" She zoomed. "In is the Valari sovereignty. A group of glowing systems lit up in one corner of the galaxy. We rule hundreds of planets. But we are not as strong as we once were." She looked at Derek. "Our people are dying." Derek blinked. "Dying? How?" "Our bodies," she explained, "were designed long ago. We were created, not born as your kind is. The first Valari were made by another race. We have improved ourselves for thousands of years, but something is broken now. She showed him a strand of glowing DNA twisting in the air. Our code is collapsing. Slowly, we are becoming weaker. Our births are fewer. Our minds are fading. Derek looked at the DNA, then back at her. What does that have to do with me? Dara paused. You carry the key. Derek laughed softly. I don't even know what that means. You are human, she said simply. The first race, the original builders. Long before Valari walked the stars, your people unlocked the secrets of life. They created the code of harmony, perfect DNA that could heal and restore. Derek shook his head. I think you have the wrong person. I don't know anything about DNA or codes. It's not about what you know, she said gently. It's what you are. She stepped closer. We found fragments of the harmony code in old ruins, but it was incomplete. The last signal led us to a small outpost and to you. Derek stared at her. So what now? You take my blood and fix your people. She looked hurt. No, that is not how we do things. You are not a tool.
You are
a bridge between past and future. I brought you here not to use you, but to ask for your help. There was silence between them. Derek looked down, confused. He didn't feel like a bridge or a key. He felt like a scared man floating. Far from home, I don't know what I'm doing, he whispered. Azera smiled kindly. That's how every great story begins. Later that day, Derek met the Valari scientists. They were not cold like he expected. They welcomed him with calm voices and gentle hands. They scanned his body not with needles, but with beams of soft light. They showed him charts and symbols he didn't understand. One of them, a female named Leah Ray, explained that his DNA held a dormant pattern, a string of ancient code locked inside him like a sleeping song. We believe your ancestors encoded it to survive, she said. Hidden deep to wait for the right time. And this is the right time? Derek asked. She nodded. It must be. Our people are on the edge. Derek felt pressure building inside him. He hadn't asked for this. He hadn't chosen it. Everywhere he turned, the Valari looked at him like he was hope itself. He wasn't sure he could handle that night. He sat alone in a quiet chamber, staring at a small crystal the scientists had given him. It pulsed with soft blue light, reacting to his touch. He missed Earth. He missed silence. He missed knowing who he was. Suddenly the door opened, and Azera entered. I hope I'm not disturbing you, she said softly. No, Derek replied. I'm just thinking. She sat beside him. You carry the weight of a dying people? That is not fair. Derek looked at her. Why me? Because you were left behind, she said. It's like a seed in winter. She held the glowing crystal. I lost my brother to this disease. I've watched my people fade. When I found the signal pointing to your outpost, I thought it was another dead end. Looked into his eyes. But then I saw you. For the first time in years, I felt hope. For a long time, they sat in silence. Finally, Derek spoke. I'll try. I don't know what I can do, but I'll try. Azera smiled and touched his hand. That's all I ask. But not everyone on the ship was happy in the deep chambers of the mothership, in the shadows where light didn't reach. A figure watched Derek's every move. High Consul Threx, a Valari noble, did not trust humans. He believed the queen was risking everything for a dream. He whispered to his guards, prepare the silent blade. If this human becomes a threat, we end him. The next day, Derek began deeper tests. The scientists placed him inside a memory chamber. Their images from the past flooded his mind. Humans working beside aliens, building great cities, fighting terrible wars. He saw a final memory. A group of humans locking away a glowing cube of light, whispering a message. Of us will be forgotten, till one is remembered. He opened his eyes. Gasping, the cube from his vision matched the one hidden deep in the Valari's DNA vault. Derek rushed to Azera. I think I've seen something important. Inside the vault, they retrieved the cube. When Derek touched, it It unlocked something no Valari had ever done. A message played in the air. A human face appeared, smiling sadly. "If you are seeing this," the man said, "then the Accord has fallen. The Valari will need help. You, descendant of Earth, carry our final song. Share it wisely. Restore the balance." The message ended. Azarai's hands trembled. It's true. Your people knew this would happen. Derek didn't know how to feel. He had lived his whole life thinking humans were nothing. Now, he was proof they were once everything. But danger was close. High Consul Threx moved in secret, preparing a weapon made of old Tech 1 that could erase Derek's DNA in seconds. He watched the Queen from the shadows. "She's blinded by hope," he said. "We will save our people, without the human." Back in her chamber, Azera stood beside Derek. "You were never lost," she said softly. "You were hidden, waiting for this moment." And Derek, once a simple technician, now stood in the center of an ancient story. He didn't understand everything, but for the first time in his life, he felt like he mattered. Derek Vance had never felt more alive, has been yet more confused. Each day aboard the Valari mothership revealed more secrets about his past, his blood and the human legacy long forgotten. Queen Azir treated him with kindness, patience, and even care. The scientists respected him. The crew bowed when he passed. But not everyone smiled. Something was wrong. There were too many glances from the shadows, too many whispers when he walked by. He could feel it in the walls of the living ship. Some part of the Valari people feared him or hated him. And Derek was right. In the deepest part of the mothership, as far below the Queen's chambers, High Consul Threx watched a glowing screen. Derek's image hovered in the air, surrounded by red symbols. "He's too dangerous," Threx said, voice like ice. "The Queen's heart has clouded her judgment. She sees him as hope. I see him as the end." Beside him stood a female Valari, dressed in black armor. Commander Varix, one of the military elite. "Do we act now?" she asked. Threx nodded slowly. "Prepare the ecotoxin. If the Queen won't protect our people, we will." That same day, Derek was brought to the song chamber, a place he hadn't yet seen. The room was massive, shaped like a dome, and filled with thousands of floating crystals, each one singing in soft musical tones. It was peaceful and strange, like being inside a dream. Azeri stood in the center, waiting for him. "I'm glad you came," she said. "This place holds memories of our people, some from yours." Derek stepped closer. "What do you mean?" She pointed to one of the glowing crystals. "It contains a message from a human recorded thousands of cycles ago." Derek touched it gently. A voice filled the room. A human voice. "If you are Valari and you are listening, then the Accord is broken. We failed. We loved. You like brothers and sisters. We still do." The crystal dimmed. Derek felt something in his chest, like warmth and sadness mixed together. He looked at Azeri. "What was the Accord?" She spoke softly. "A peace, a promise. Humans and the young Valari. Your kind gave us life, knowledge, even freedom. We swore to protect one another. But when the Great War came, everything changed. What happened? The Accord fell. Your people vanished, and we forgot who we were without you." Azure showed him a sealed chamber, the Vault of Truth. Only the Queen could open it. She placed her hand on a glowing panel, and the doors opened with a quiet hiss. Inside were old scrolls, human artifacts, and pieces of forgotten machines. Among them was a glowing cube, the core of harmony. "It's the last full copy of the code," Azera said, "but only you can activate it." "Why me?" Derek asked. She stepped closer. "Because your DNA matches the one who created it, a man named Cale Vance." Derek blinked. "Vance." "My family name?" Azeri nodded. "You are his descendant. His blood flows in you." Suddenly, it all felt real. He wasn't just a random human. He was connected to the ones who built the Valari future, and maybe the ones who could save it. He reached out and touched the cube. It lit up like a star, while the Queen celebrated this sign. High Consul Threx was already moving. He had sent a coded message to the Black Wing, a hidden rebel group that believed Valari should rule without human help or memories. They thought the past made them weak. The message was simple. The human must not survive. Commander Varix took a small vial from Threx's hand. It pulsed with green mist. The ecotoxin will erase his blood, his code. Said, make it look like an accident. Varix nodded and vanished into the shadows. Meanwhile, Derek walked with Lee Ray, the scientist who had helped him earlier. She showed him a garden chamber in open space filled with strange amomas, glowing trees and singing flowers. Your presence has changed the ship, she said. It's growing stronger, like it remembers you. Derek laughed nervously. Creepy and cool, Lee Ray smiled. Your DNA interacts with our systems. The ship is alive and it responds to harmony. So, you're saying this entire ship is like one big song? Yes, and now you're part of the melody. Derek didn't fully understand, but he was starting to feel it. The ship was waking up around him, as if it had waited years for him to arrive that night. During the Queen's evening gathering, food and drink were served in a chamber of light. In music, Derek sat beside Azair, still overwhelmed by how far he had come as he reached for a glowing fruit. A hand stopped him. It was Lur. Her face was pale. Don't eat that, she whispered. What? Why? She grabbed the fruit, scanned it with her crystal lens, and gasped. It's poisoned. The room froze. Azair stood. What did you say? Ecotoxin designed to kill only humans. Gasps filled the room. Derek felt his stomach twist. Azair turned to the guards. Lock down the chamber. No one leaves. But Varix was already gone. Hours later, in a secret part of the ship, Varix reported to Threx. He didn't eat it, she said, angry. The scientist warned him. Threx's eyes glowed red for a moment. Then we changed the plan. No more. Trixie opened a large chamber filled with machines from before the Accord. Weapons not used in centuries. We bring war to the Queen herself. If she won't protect the future, we take it from her. Derek stood alone in his room. He stared at his hands, shaking. Someone had tried to kill him. He wasn't just a guest anymore. He was a target. Azair entered quietly. I failed to protect you. It's not your fault, Derek said. But she looked pained. This was my doing. By bringing you here, I exposed you to danger. Derek stood. I need to do more. Not a soldier or a leader, but I can't just hide. She looked at him, hope returning to her eyes. Then let us finish what your ancestors began. Let us restore the Accord. He nodded, and for the first time, Derek didn't feel like just a technician. He felt like a human who could change everything. But war was coming. In the shadows of the ship, machines began to awaken, war beasts shaped like wolves of steel, controlled by Threx's followers. And at the heart of the mothership, the Harmony Core pulsed faster, as if it knew the storm had begun. The stars outside the Valari mothership blinked quietly, unaware of the storm growing inside. Derek Vance stood on the upper deck, looking through a transparent window at the endless sky. Behind him, the ship's systems hummed softly. But Derek felt no peace. Not tonight. He had nearly been poisoned. Someone wanted him dead. And now, the Queen was preparing for war against her own people. He still didn't understand why this was happening. He was just one man, a human from a quiet world. But to the Valari, he was something ancient, something powerful, and something dangerous. He felt the pressure growing, but there was no turning back. Now Queen Azera paced inside the command chamber. Her face was calm, but her eyes showed worry. Our own are turning against us, she said. Threx is activated. The war-forged machines. Weapons from before the Accord. Lorray, the scientist, looked shocked. Those machines were banned. They can destroy entire cities. They were made to fight humans, Azair replied quietly. And now he plans to use them. On Derek. Derek stepped forward. Then let's not wait. Let's move first. Azair turned to him, surprised. You want to fight? He nodded. I don't know how to lead an army, but I know what fear feels like, and I'm done being afraid. Azera placed her hand on his shoulder. You may not be one of us, but you are Valarian spirit. In secret, High Consul Threx stood before his small army. They were inside an old hangar deep in the ship's core. Hundreds of war-forged machines waited behind him, giant metal beasts with glowing red eyes and sharp claws. This ship belongs to us, Threx said. The Queen has forgotten our pride. She kneels to a human, a relic, a danger. The soldiers shouted in agreement. Threx raised his fist. Tonight we remind her who truly rules the stars. Back on the command deck, Azera ordered defenses to be activated. But it was already too late. An alarm screamed across the ship. Red alert. Section 7 breached. Or forged units active. Derek looked at the screen. Dozens of red dots moved through the lower chambers. They were coming fast. Azera pointed at the guards. Get the Harmony Core to the high vault. Guard it with your lives. Lee turned to Derek. You must come too. If they capture you, they can corrupt the code. Derek was about to follow, but he stopped. No, he said. Let them chase me. Give them something to follow. Lure them away from the core. Azerai's eyes widened. You'll be killed. Not if I move fast. Lee looked at him, torn. Are you sure? Derek nodded. It's time to stop running. The hallways of the mothership lit up with flashing lights. Doors sealed. Weapons extended from the walls. Derek ran through the winding corridors, wearing a special cloak given by Lee. It shimmered, bending light around him, partially hiding him from sensors. Behind him, the war-forged machines marched. Breaking through steel doors with heavy claws, his heart pounded. His legs burned, but he kept moving. He wasn't just running, he was leading them away. Azera and her guards carried the Harmony Core toward the high vault. It glowed in her hands, sensing the danger. She whispered to it softly, Stay awake, little light. We need you now more than ever. But two of Threx's soldiers ambushed them. Blades flew. Shields clashed. Screams echoed through the hall. Azeri fought like a storm. With a wave of her hand, she summoned a blade of pure light. In seconds, both attackers lay still. The guards looked at her with awe. The Queen rarely used her power, but tonight she fought like a warrior. Meanwhile, Derek reached the ship's gravity core, a massive chamber filled with floating energy and spinning rings. It was unstable, but it could help. He activated the controls. Suddenly, the gravity field shifted. The floor tilted. The walls shook. Several of the machines chasing him lost their balance and fell into the energy stream where they were, torn apart by the force. Derek grinned. That's one way to slow them down. But more kept coming. He ducked behind a console. A sharp pain hit his shoulder. He'd been grazed by one of their weapons. His cloak flickered, nearly turning off. He breathed hard. I can't keep this. Up. Then a voice echoed in his ear. You are not alone. It was Azera. Using the ship's neural system, she connected her thoughts to his. He saw flashes of her memory, straining as a young Valeri, watching her people grow sick, discovering the lost human signals, her pain, her hope. You carry more than DNA, Derek, she said. You carry their spirit. Suddenly, the Harmony Core, still with the Queen, pulsed brightly, and miles away, inside Derek. Something awakened. His veins glowed faint blue. His mind expanded. He stood up, and the machine stopped. The war-forged units scanned him. Their systems glitched. Their programming clashed with the new signal inside Derek. He raised his hand. I'm not just your target, he said. I'm your creator's heir. The machines hesitated. Then one by one, they powered down. Threx watched from his control station. He saw the machines fall. He saw Derek glow. No, he whispered. This can't happen. He smashed his fist on the console. Send in the last guardian. Behind him, a massive door opened, and something ancient stepped out. A Titan-class warforged. 10 meters tall. Designed to destroy entire planets, Azera. Reach Derek just as the Titan landed in front of him. Its voice boomed like thunder. Human detected. Purge protocol active. It charged. Derek was pushed aside by Azera, who raised her blade and met the Titan's first strike. Metal screamed. Sparks flew, she shouted, "Run!" But Derek stood. No more running. He touched the ship's wall. The Harmony core, far away, pulsed. And suddenly, the ship responded. Lights changed. Doors sealed. Energy flowed toward the Titan, but not. As a weapon, as a command. "Stand down," Derek said. "Your war is over." For a moment, nothing happened. Then the Titan froze. Its red eyes blinked, then turned blue. Acknowledged. Knelt before Derek. Azera stared, stunned. You reprogrammed it." Derek shook his head. "Oh." I reminded it who it was. High Consul Threx was arrested minutes later. His soldiers surrendered when they saw the Titan switch sides. Threx shouted, "This is madness. He's human." Azera looked at him. "He's hope." That night, the ship was quiet again, in the garden chamber, under glowing trees. Derek sat with Azera. "I'm not special," he said softly. "I didn't ask for any of this." She smiled gently. "Sometimes we don't choose the song chooses us." She took his hand. "Thank you, Derek Vance. You've saved more than my people. You reminded us who we were. We can be." The stars outside shone brighter than ever. But the journey wasn't over. The core was safe. The war was over. But a greater truth still waited to be uncovered. The Volari mothership drifted quietly in the dark space near the edge of a dying star. War was over. Threx had been imprisoned. The rogue war-forged machines were now shut down or reprogrammed. The ship was healing. But Derek Vance could feel it. This wasn't the end. It was the beginning of something much larger. Inside the Queen's personal chamber, the Harmony core floated above a silver pedestal. It glowed softly, its energy pulsing like a heart. Derek stood near it, his hand hovering above its light. Queen Azera watched him from a distance. "You're still connected to it," she said. Derek nodded. "It speaks to me, not with words, but with feelings, like I'm hearing the dreams of my ancestors." She stepped forward. "Then it's time to listen closely. There's something we haven't told you yet." Later, in the deepest vault of the ship, Azera led Derek into a chamber made of crystal and memory. This place was called the Star Archive. Floating in the center was a dark sphere. Unlike anything Derek had seen, Azera touched it, and the chamber shifted suddenly. Holograms appeared, thousands of them humans and Volari, working side by side, building cities on strange planets, laughing, sharing knowledge, planting forests on barren moons. "This is what the Accord was," Azera said, softly. "Not just peace, but a dream. A future where both our kinds became more than they were alone." Derek watched in awe, but then the lights changed. The images turned violent fire. Betrayal, destruction. He saw humans turning against Volari, ships falling from skies, screams, explosions. Azerai's voice grew heavier. But something happened. A secret program, buried deep inside some humans, activated. It turned friends into enemies. They called it the Purity Protocol. Derek frowned. "Why would humans do that?" "Fear," Azera answered. "Fear that your kind would lose. Itself in union with ours." The last image was of a mantle, bearded, wearing armor with a strange symbol. Azera pointed. "That's Cale Vance, your ancestor. He tried to stop it. He protected the last of us. He erased the protocol and then vanished." Derek stared. "At the face, he looks like me." "He is you," Azera whispered, "in more ways than you understand." She held out a small metal disc. "This is Cale's last message. We kept it locked, until now." Derek took it and placed it into the Harmony core. The room dimmed. A voice filled the air. It was calm, tired, human. "To whoever finds this, I failed. The Accord has fallen. Earth is lost. But the dream isn't. I've encoded myself into the Harmony code. One day, someone like me, my blood, my mind will awaken. And when that happens, I trust you to finish what we started. Derek felt cold. I'm not just his descendant, am I? Azera nodded. Doe, you are his echo. Suddenly, Harmony Core flared bright. A projection appeared, a map of the galaxy. One star blinked red. Derek stepped closer. What is that? Ray entered the chamber holding a scanner. It's a distress signal. It's very old. But it's still active. Azarai's eyes widened. It's coming from Earth. For the first time in centuries, Earth had spoken. But what waited there? Derek felt torn. Part of him wanted to stay with Azaray, with the Valari, and help rebuild. But another part pulled him forward toward the planet of his ancestors. The origin of everything, Azera seemed to understand. You don't need my permission, she said with a smile. Your journey began before we even met. He looked at her, uncertain. Will you come with me? She hesitated, then stepped closer. Where you go, I go. The journey to Earth took 6 days. The Valari ship, now fully powered by Derek's connection to the core, moved faster than light. Along the way, Derek spent time with Lorray, learning more about the Accord, the war, and the code buried deep in his body. He also spent time with Azera. They sat under glowing trees, shared stories, laughed, even held hands. She wasn't just a queen anymore. She was someone who understood him, someone who believed in him. When they reached Earth's orbit, the entire crew gathered on the main deck. But what they saw stunned everyone. Earth was still there, but it was surrounded by a black field. Like a shell, the ship's scanners struggled to break through it. Lorray frowned. It's not natural. Some kind of energy barrier. Derek stepped forward. Let me try. He placed his hand on the console. The Harmony Core responded. The ship glowed brighter. The barrier around Earth rippled, and then opened. They entered the planet's orbit slowly. Below them, Earth was not dead, but it was different. Cities were overgrown. Forests had returned. But strange structures dotted the landscape, machines shaped like towers, pulsing with light. They landed near what used to be Europe, Derek. Zarer and a small team stepped outside. The air was clean. The ground felt alive, but something watched. Them, a machine tall and humanoid, stepped from the trees. It scanned Derek, then it said in an ancient human voice, identification confirmed. Welcome home, Cale Vance. More machines appeared, but they didn't attack. They bowed. Derek was confused. What? What is this? Azera looked at the towers nearby, their memory beacons. This isn't just a planet, it's a vault. One of the machines led them to a great hall made of stone and steel. Inside were frozen images, artifacts. Even old Earth animals preserved in stanzas. Lirae touched a wall. This place was built to survive the fall. The last humans hid here, waiting for a signal. In the center of the hall was a seat, a throne. The machine pointed to it. Please sit, Cale. Derek hesitated. I'm not him, not Cale. But Azera stepped forward. Yes, you are. You carry his code, his heart, and his dream. Derek sat. The entire chamber lit up. The machines activated. Lights flashed. Hidden vault opened inside. Were people humans? NCRYO-sleep? Hundreds of them. The machine spoke again. They have slept for 2,000 years, waiting for a signal from the Harmony Code. Waiting for you. Derek stood, his hands shaking. They're alive. Azera placed a hand on his back, then waked them. It took time, but one by one, the last humans of Earth opened their eyes. They saw Derek. They saw Azera. They saw Valari, and they didn't scream. They smiled, because they remembered the cord. Weeks passed. Earth began to return to life, not as it was before, but as something new. Valari and human worked together. The Accord was restored. Ships returned. To the stars, and in the center of it all was Derek, no longer just a man from a forgotten world, but a symbol of unity, of peace, and of hope. He had no crown, no army. But when the people gathered, they looked at him as if he were something more, something ancient, something human. One night, Under Earth's new stars, Azira walked beside him in silence. "You've changed everything," she said. He smiled. "I just followed the music." She touched his hand gently, and now he looked at the stars. "We write a new song." They stood there, together, queen and human, watching a new dawn rise, not just for one race, but for all.